Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. We have an ample amount of national news for you today, but we will start locally with some of the things that we have talked about before. Nope, not on tape. I know we're going to talk about crime again in the city of Columbus, but that disclaimer that we play before some Salem shows, as I said yesterday in segment one, portions of the following program have been pre-recorded, does not apply to this show. There is, though, a certain sameness to the incompetence that abounds in the Franklin County non-justice center and non-justice system. We'll have to reserve judgment on whether justice will be done in a case that still sticks with me to this day. I don't know if prosecutors in this city, those who work for Gary Tyack, get cases that cross their desk and they never forget the face of the victim, never forget the name of the victim, never forget the parents of the victim. But I've never forgotten the particulars that pertain to 21-year-old Kevin Sobnoski from the Youngstown area. You might remember young Mr. Sobnoski being the victim of a senseless shooting at a Sheetz gas station out by John Glenn International Airport in close proximity to Halloween 2 years ago. He was here in Columbus with his friends to go to a Halloween party. It was 3:45-ish in the morning. They were going to fill up their car with gas at Sheetz. And for that crime, Kevin Sobnoski was murdered. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. One of the people who participated in a shootout between rival gangs. I don't know if they're organized gangs or disorganized gangs. They're gangs in terms of the collective number of people, all young black men who were also at that Sheetz gas station at that time, decided that they would escalate or settle a beef between these two groups by randomly firing guns at each other across the Sheetz parking lot into the Sheetz store. And Kevin Sobnoski, while he sat in the passenger seat of his car, thinking he had avoided the absolute worst fate that could have befallen him, was instead shot in the back of the head by a bullet from the gun of 18-year-old Kamarion Ross. It's not a conventional bullet. Kamarion Ross had a pistol that was equipped to fire the same size bullets that are fired from an AK-47 rifle. So Kevin Sobnoski, thankfully, did not really know what happened to him before he died. Kevin Sobnoski's story sticks with me because he's the kind of people on which we base our future. Hope. Young man, honor student, soccer player, member of his church, full ride scholarship academically to Youngstown State University. Kamarion Ross, unfortunately, is an all too common story in the city of Columbus. Someone who, at least on this night, allied himself with other criminals, other gang members. And why did he shoot Kevin Sobnoski? Because Kamarion Ross was with a group of people who had a beef with another guy that they spotted in the Sheetz gas station when they went in there. How long did it take the jury to convict Kamarion Ross, who pleaded, you'll love this, self-defense as the reason why he was not guilty of murdering Kevin Sobnoski? Self-defense because Kevin Sobnoski was a threat to him? No, just because Kamarion Ross felt threatened by other people shooting at him. And we now know how ridiculous this was and why the jury deliberated only 35 minutes, which I didn't even think you could elect a jury foreman in 35 minutes and render a verdict in the case. 35 minutes. Hi, who do you want to be the foreman? Okay, I vote for him. Okay, I vote for you. All right, what do you guys think? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty. Times 12. Kamarion Ross will be sentenced in September by Judge Stephen McIntosh, who I certainly hope is not as incompetent as the worst judge in Franklin County, Michael Holbrook, who, by the way, yesterday showed us how incompetent he is by defending his title as the worst person ever to sit on the bench of Franklin County Common Pleas Court. Yes, allow me to digress for a second. Do you know what Judge Michael Holbrook meted out as what he determines a fitting sentence for a murder that he himself termed cold-blooded and senseless yesterday? Cold-blooded and senseless. What are the circumstances of the murder, Bruce? Well, the victim, Frank Mitchell, 66, he's the perpetrator. Dominic Braxton, age 40, is the victim. I thought, one minute I read his age, I'm like, wait a minute, no, the young guy was the guy who got murdered here. Yeah, Dominic Braxton, 40 years old, murdered. A lot of life ahead of Dominic Braxton, theoretically, if he doesn't live in Linden, the Hilltop, near East Side, or other areas of Columbus that have become shooting ranges under the stewardship or lack of same from Mayor Andrew Ginther. Frank Mitchell walked up on Mr. Braxton while Mr. Braxton was engaged moving furniture and shot him in the face. Mr. Mitchell was not convicted by a jury. He admitted he did it. And Michael Holbrook, saying, well, that is cold-blooded and senseless, decided that a fitting sentence for Frank Mitchell for premeditated, cold-blooded, senseless murder is, can you guess, life in prison? 66 years old, life in prison, the rest of his life in prison. What, has he got 20 years to live? No. Come on. 7 years. Max 10 and a half. 7 years, max 10 and a half. That's what Michael Holbrook thinks is an appropriate punishment for walking up on a guy, premeditated, shooting him in the face, and murdering him. A 40-year-old man. Wow. Back to the case of Kevin Sobnowski. Why did Kamarion Ross fire his pistol equipped with ammunition that would also be fired from an AK-47 rifle? Because when Mr. Ross, the murderer, walked into Sheetz near the airport on October the 30th, 2022, he and his companions saw another guy, Taiwan Sullivan, whom at least one person with Ross, the murderer of Kevin Sobnowski, had bad blood because of some prior incidents. And so, instead of saying, there's a guy in there I don't really like, let's get the heck out of here, let's go find another Sheetz. No. They went to their cars, armed themselves, and went back in the store. Mr. Sullivan, sensing he was in danger, left the store himself and started to drive away. But you can't just drive away. You look like a coward unless you get your own gun out and start firing. And he did so. So then people with Ross, the murderer of Kevin Sobnowski, started firing back at Sullivan with an AR-15 rifle. Now, Ross, who had been inside the convenience store, this is the murderer of Kevin Sobnowski, I'm quoting from the Dispatch story, ran outside before turning back and firing from his pistol at the gas station. The guy they had to beef with is driving away. Why would he turn and fire into the gas station? But that's not where he hit Kevin Sobnowski with the bullet that killed Kevin Sobnowski. Ross, the murderer, got into his vehicle and saw Sobnowski's vehicle, the college boys from Youngstown State, saying, this is more than we bargained for. We just wanted to fill up with gas and head back home. Sobnowski's vehicle was trying to get out of the parking lot. Imagine that. There's a bunch of kids shooting at each other. Let's get the heck out of here and get back to the safety of Youngstown. The rear passenger door of the vehicle was then opened by Mr. Ross, who stood up and fired more than a half dozen shots toward the vehicle in which Kevin Sobnowski was riding. Mr. Sobnowski was sitting in the front seat. He was hit by a bullet that went through the back window and hit him in the head. Ross said, I fired shots because I was scared. I believed the vehicle could possibly still be shooting at us. They weren't shooting at you. They were trying to get away. Ross said he fired several rounds, but did not empty the 30-round magazine on his firearm because he thought the first 8 rounds he fired were enough. Well, you were right about that, Mr. Ross. They were enough to murder a guy who had made great life choices and had a wonderful life ahead of him with loving parents and great potential and people who still grieve over his death to this day. Mr. Ross made a lot of bad decisions. The decisions are his own. He should own them. But they are decisions that are, in many cases, I will admit, foisted on young people in our community because of the policies that have been put in place and prioritized by Democrats. Why? Because they serve the community? No, because it helps them stay in power. And we'll have further evidence of that next.
More clouds and sun. It'll be humid for the afternoon. The high today at 88. Thunderstorm this evening. Otherwise cloudy and humid tonight. Low 69. Periods of clouds and sun. Humid tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms. The high at 91. Rain and a thunderstorm on Thursday morning. Otherwise clouds, hot and very humid. A heavy afternoon thunderstorm. The high at 91. Clouds and humid. A thunderstorm in the area on Friday. The high 87. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM.
You happen to have Matt Mayer's email address?
This is Josh Pick with
No,
Atlas Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed.
Somebody wants to get a hold of him?
Yeah.
We're facing many dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever.
Is that a listener
Inflation
or what?
continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there
He probably has his email on his Substack. But
at Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation.
And when I get it,
whether you've never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds of conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Sebastian Gorka, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, followed by Stacey Washington at 5. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
For anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Did you know that 80% of adults take supplements to feel our best, right? Well, one thing your dog can't do without you is improve their diet or health to feel their best. That is why I believe Rough Greens could dramatically help your best friend by adding what is missing to their diet like you do. Rough Greens is helping thousands and thousands of dogs feel better and live longer, including my dog, Mr. Briggs, who loves it. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who created Rough Greens, is also an Airborne Ranger and Green Beret, an amazing background. He loves dogs and is on a mission to help as many as he can. Dog food is dead, and Rough Greens supplements your dog's food with existing vitamins and minerals, omega oils, digestive enzymes, probiotics, and antioxidants. Dr. Black is offering you a free Jumpstart trial bag. To fetch your free Jumpstart trial bag, just cover shipping. Don't change your dog's food. Just go to roughgreens.com/Kirk, ruffgreens.com/Kirk.
Well, I just got a text from someone who said, hey, you put carpet in my house a couple of years ago, and now I want you to put the exact same carpet in my daughter's house in German Village. Yeah, repeat customers, big part of what I do in terms of bringing in a second income via flooring for your home, which you can inquire about at brucehooley.com, clicking the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner. Repeat customers are important. How do you get repeat customers? Well, you offer them great products, the same that they can get at big box stores. We have an awesome installation crew who do a great job. They work for us. They're accountable to themselves and to us for what they do and how they do it. And like me, they're paid on commission. So if you're going back and fixing a job done wrong, guess what? You're not on a new job getting another commission for that job. So that's why we do it right the first time. We can save you money, and that's how we get repeat customers. So if you'd like to become a customer for the first time or the second time, go to brucehooley.com, click the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe is in front of the government committee right now, testifying about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And we now know that I mean, you can judge for yourself. I'm just going to say, I will say this carefully and as precisely as I can. I find it very hard to believe that security at a presidential event involving a major political party candidate, I just find it hard to believe that there could be this much incompetence by accident. I just find that hard to believe. I just got to say it. I find it very hard to believe that this kind of incompetence is by accident. For instance, the acting director of the Secret Service, Ronald Rowe Jr., says that what Beaver County officials and local police saw in the shooter more than an hour and a half before Donald Trump spoke was never communicated to the Secret Service. Never communicated to the Secret Service. Here is that, and we'll get back to the dysfunction locally here in Columbus by Democrats who craft and continue policies specifically because it keeps them in power. But here's Ronald Rowe, Secret Service, didn't know there was a guy with a backpack and a bicycle and a long rifle, and he was up on the roof.
Senator, if we'd had that information, they would have been able to address it more quickly. It appears that that information was stuck or siloed in that state and local channel. I will tell you, though, that there were our tactical elements not only did they have embeds from Butler County ESU with them, but they also had radios on the tactical net. It is troubling to me that we did not get that information as quickly as we should have. We didn't know that there was this incident going on, and the only thing we had was that locals were working an issue at the 3 o'clock, which would have been the former president's right-hand side, which is where the shot came. Nothing about man on the roof, nothing about man with a gun. None of that information ever made it over our net.
So that will change?
Yes, sir. We are working right now to figure out the interoperability and also make sure that we do have access to those channels, whether through the counterpart system or some other means.
Now, I told you the day after, well, 2 days after this happened, that after talking to someone who had been part of the high echelon of consultation with the Secret Service, state police, and local police during presidential visits to Columbus, he said the biggest challenge is communication. And that while you and I might think it is routine for there to be one channel on which all these people communicate, he in fact said that communication in these situations is the biggest challenge because everyone's on a different channel. Well, it seems stupid to me, but it was clearly the case here. Okay. Something else that seems stupid to me is the continuing penchant of local officials, whether it be Columbus City Council or Franklin County Commissioners, to engage in activities that clearly prejudice juries who will in the future tackle matters of consequence regarding law enforcement charged with shootings that end the lives of citizens. Now, we have a concept in our country, innocent until proven guilty. We have a concept in our country that justice is blind. We have a concept in our country that you don't want to prejudice juries before they hear evidence in cases presented before them. It is beyond my understanding how a city like Columbus or a county like Franklin County can engage in clearly prejudicing the jury by giving millions of dollars to families who file lawsuits against law enforcement before those matters ever come before a jury. If I'm sitting on a jury and I know that the defendant in the case has already had millions of dollars paid by the entity he works for to the family that is suing him, it is going to be, let's just be charitable, challenging to keep that information out of my head, because the one thing I would have to ask myself is, why would a city pay a family $5 million, as Columbus has done prior to the trial of a policeman charged with the death of a citizen, or in this case before us today, why would Franklin County even be doing what they're doing today, which is deliberating over giving the family of Casey Goodson Jr. $7 million before Deputy Jason Meade is retried in October for what county prosecutors believe was Mr. Meade acting outside the purview of his authority as a then Franklin County Sheriff's deputy serving on a U.S. Marshals task force. This is crazy to me. Utterly crazy to me. Say, wait a minute, didn't they try Jason Meade already? Yeah, they did. Was he convicted? No, he wasn't. The case ended in a mistrial. But they're going to try him again because, of course, if Gary Tyack or any Democrat in this town wants to be reelected prosecutor, and Tyack has already basically ceded the job to Shayla Faber, who is more woke and stupid than he is. He's just lazy and incompetent. She's a partisan. But Franklin County commissioners are, I don't know how they could possibly say that this will not matter at all to a future jury deliberating the fate of Jason Meade, that they've already given Casey Goodson Jr.'s family $7 million, if in fact that is what they will decide today. And you and I both know they are going to decide that. They are not going to say, no, we're going to wait and find out if Jason Meade is guilty of anything. So they apparently just have $7 million of taxpayer money burning a hole in their pocket that they can't wait to give away.
SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Senators demanding answers about security lapses that allowed a gunman to open fire earlier this month at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The acting Secret Service Director, Ronald Rowe, being questioned at a hearing. It's now underway on Capitol Hill. There has been bipartisan concern over the shooting that wounded former President Trump and left a member of his audience dead. Devastating landslides have hit southern India. At least 93 people have died, scores injured, many others still missing. 42-year-old man facing felony arson charges stemming from the largest of this year's California wildfires. The Park Fire has scorched more than 370,000 acres. Just several weeks after the last round of flooding, northern Vermont has been slammed once again. Wall Street, the Dow up 65 points, the NASDAQ down 164. More details, srnnews.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
War has played a key role in the history of the United States, from the nation's founding right down to the present. Wars made the United States independent, kept it together, increased its size, and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles in America's wars. To start listening now, go to parthenonpodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
The price of gas and oil remains strong, and Goldman Sachs predicts the growth in demand to keep growing for years to come. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. become more energy independent while utilizing your tax savings for 2024. Your patriotic investment may generate monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you are an SEC accredited investor and can make a $200,000 investment, you can deduct nearly 100% of this investment in 2024. Call 1-800-278-7455. Investing in Encore Energy is an operator direct investment in horizontal oil drilling and production technology in an area of proven production where more than 100 wells have been drilled. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment for 2024. Call 1-800-278-7455. That's 1-800-278-7455.
Dennis Prager here. I invite you to join me on a Bible cruise this November. Share fresh insights during these discussions, all while soaking up the sunshine and beauty of a tropical Caribbean paradise. Visit PragerBibleCruise.com.
Enjoyed my evening last night. Talked to a wonderful woman in the state of Georgia. About what? About Patriot Switch, of course. About products which are essentially products that you could get in an outlet store if Patriot Switch had an outlet store. Oh, wait, they do. It's just online. You order online. She lives in an RV in the woods in Savannah, Georgia. And she said, I just hate going to the store. It's a hassle. She lives in an RV. Can you imagine? Unhook your RV, drive it to the store. She was like thrilled to find out, you mean they'll ship everything I'm already buying? Mouthwash, toothpaste, laundry detergent, cleaning things, protein supplements, vitamins, minerals, right to my door? I'm like, yes. And they'll even credit the shipping, $10.44 a month, back to your account in free product the following month. She said, that sounds wonderful. She signed up, she shopped because she wanted to get the $1 annual membership, which ends at the end of July. If this sounds appealing to you, great products from a great company, not a conglomerate, family owned. Then leave your information at patriotswitch.com/Bruce, patriotswitch.com/Bruce. Well, you know, the challenge for the Trump campaign is to take the short time between now and the election, and it may feel like it's forever to you, but it's about 100 days, which is very short. And I actually think the Democrats allowed Joe Biden to wobble as a candidate for as long as they did. A lot of people think, oh, you know, they got caught on Biden was just so bad in that debate, and they didn't see that coming. Well, of course they saw that coming. I would bet at least 50-50 that was as much a setup as it was a shock to them. Let's put the old boy out there. Let's see if he can actually do what he says he can do. We're all tired of him. Let's call his bluff. what if he fails? Then we'll only have like 100 days to like get a candidate together and all that. And the people who are like, well, wait a second. Like, do we want Kamala Harris to have a run-up and a long vetting process by America to find out who she is and what she said before? Oh, hey, you got a point there. Because the last time she had that chance, she failed so miserably, her presidential campaign, in which she started as the front runner, ended before the first primary. That is how bad of a candidate she is. She's bad on policy. She's bad on delivery. And she's just, let's be honest, flat out annoying. Okay? Oh, wait, Bruce, you can't say that. No, I just said it because she's annoying. She's not annoying because she's a woman. She's not annoying because she's black or Indian or Asian or whatever intersectionality card she wants to play today to curry favor with whoever she's talking to. She's just annoying, full stop, mic drop. She just is. So they don't want you to have a long time to evaluate her because her positions are terrible. And one of the positions on which she is most terrible is the border, which she was in charge of before Biden dropped off the ticket. And then we found out she was never in charge of the border, because had she been in charge of the border, which is kind of what we were all told when we were endlessly treated to her label as border czar, well, no. Don't include that in your evaluation of Kamala Harris, and certainly don't listen to clips like this that clearly define her as the incompetent she has proven herself on the border.
I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing. Let me just be very clear. We have to have a secure border, but I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border.
Now, if she meant we have a secure border in the sense that the border's not moving, then she's right. It is secure. It's fixed. But if you mean it in the sense of we have a secure border and that no one can cross it, then she is clearly, blatantly wrong. And she's also wrong on the fact that policy-wise, not only is she wrong on the fact that you keep it open and let as many people who can come in, she is wrong in the way she delivers her radicalism. There is a tell in the clip I am about to share with you that I will further demonstrate with another clip after this one. A tell that if Kamala Harris were playing in, say, the World Series of Poker, she would walk away with no money. She is the person that you want to sit across from, particularly if you're Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping or Kim Jong-un or the Iranian mullahs, because she gives away the fact that she is lying and that she is incompetent while telling you whatever it is she is telling you. Listen here for A, how radical she is on the border, but B, see if you can capture the tell that she engages in, which clearly proves that she is lying.
So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all to people who are in this country illegally?
I'm opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health. Let me just...
Okay. Jake Tapper asked the question. I'm going to let him ask it again.
You support giving universal health care, Medicare for all to people who are in this country illegally?
The answer is either yes or no. The answer is either yes or no. But how does she answer it?
I'm opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health.
Okay. That is what is known as not just lying, but overlying, overcompensating. She can't answer a yes or no question because she knows the answer is a bad answer. So she has to prattle on and on and on and on and sort of hide the fact that her answer to the question is, yes, I don't care. We're not going to charge them. You want more proof of that? That this is her tell? We all know she lied about Joe Biden's condition, right? We all know this. Is Joe Biden cognitively capable? Yes, Joe Biden is perfectly cognitively capable. Why would you ask such a ridiculous question? That would be my answer. If someone said, hey, Bruce, are you cheating on your wife? I would be like, what a stupid question. Of course not. What's your evidence? I wouldn't go on and on and on. Hey, Bruce, did you rob the convenience store on the corner? No, of course not. Do you have video of me there? Like, why would you say such a stupid thing? Hey, Bruce, have you done something? Like, have you embezzled millions of dollars from your radio station? Like, no, what's your, like, where did that come from? I wouldn't do what Kamala Harris does when she talks about Joe Biden's competence, which is over-lie.
I spent a whole lot of time with our president, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room and in other places. And I can tell you, as I just mentioned, not only is he absolutely authoritative in rooms around the globe, but in the Oval Office, meeting with members of Congress, meeting with leaders in industry, meeting with community leaders. Everyone. I will tell you that he is in front of often everyone in the room in terms of thinking about how we can resolve issues, negotiate in a way that is about concession where necessary, but for the sake of accomplishment and actual work.
Did we ever get a real answer there? No, we got endless chatter, over-lying, overcompensating. She can't just say, is the president competent? Of course he's competent. What are you talking about? Like, why would you say he's not competent? Like, she can't do that. And the reason why she can't do it is because she knows it's a lie. And so she has to oversell the lie so that you will feel ashamed of even asking the question. This is something the Trump campaign needs to point out. This is something JD Vance needs to point out. They cannot let her run from her positions, hard though she may be trying. She is a past defender of defunding the police. She's compared ICE to the KKK. She claims shutting down the border violates federal law. She opposes, as we played for you, treating illegals as criminals. She wants to ban private health insurance. But wait, Friday in the New York Times, the Harris campaign announced that the vice president no longer wants to ban fracking. And guess what else? She says she is now backs the Biden administration's budget request for increased funding for border enforcement. She no longer supports a single-payer health insurance program. And she has echoed Mr. Biden's call for banning assault weapons, but not a requirement to sell them to the federal government. That, folks, is a Friday afternoon news dump. You know those 4 radical positions that are going to be showing up in Trump commercials? By the way, I no longer hold those positions. 2 paragraphs, tidy, quick. It's the only time she can give an answer that's quick and concise is in print.
Sun, it'll be humid for the afternoon. The high today at 88. Thunderstorm this evening, otherwise cloudy and humid tonight, low 69. Periods of clouds and sun, humid tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms, the high at 91. Rain and a thunderstorm on Thursday morning. Otherwise clouds, hot and very humid. A heavy afternoon thunderstorm, the high at 91. Clouds and humid, a thunderstorm in the area on Friday, high 87. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
You want your child to become all that he or she can be, but you are dissatisfied with the current public education system. At Heart of Ohio Classical Academy Dublin campus, your child will receive a top-quality classical education based on the curriculum of the Hillsdale College's K-12 program, and it's tuition-free for everyone. For more information on how to enroll your child or to register for a parent info event, visit dublinclassical.com today. That's dublinclassical.com. Heart of Ohio, tuition-free, where students learn how to think. dublinclassical.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real. And I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We're 1,000 miles from the southern border, but illegal immigrant crime is in our backyard.
This man is charged with aggravated murder after a body was found in an alley just north of Cincinnati. Furman Garcia Gutierrez is an illegal immigrant who's been to jail nearly a dozen times, deported 7 times.
Senator Sherrod Brown voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities in Ohio that release dangerous, illegal immigrant criminals like this one onto our streets to commit even worse crimes in Ohio and across the country. Call Senator Sherrod Brown at 216-522-7272 and tell him to support S1068, the Stop Dangerous Sanctuary Cities Act, and start voting against dangerous illegal immigrant criminals and for our safety in Ohio. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Well, I have a friend who's going in the hospital and won't be able to cook for himself for a while. So we're going to make a meal for him on the side. And what do you think we're going to do? Well, of course, we're going to grill a great Riverbend Ranch steak for him, because there's no better way to show your guests you really care about them than to serve them an awesome meal, or to bring a meal to someone who can't make one for themselves. Riverbend Ranch steaks are the top of the line. USDA choice and prime, no hormones, no antibiotics ever. That's not an accident. You get to be USDA choice and prime by not having hormones or antibiotics in your beef, by raising Black Angus beef bred specifically to the best marbling specifications, and allowing those cattle to graze on vast ranch land, drink from mountain streams, and not be stressed on their way to market by trucking them thousands of miles, but by processing them right on site, dry aging the beef, flash freezing it, and shipping it right to your door. That's how they do it at riverbendranchsteaks.com. If you try it, you will love it, but you will not be able to try it unless you go to riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley, riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. So as I told you at the start of the bottom of the hour segment in the program, acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe Jr. is testifying before Congress. He's being pressed on the staffing for the event. I hope that he'll give answers as to whether or not it is true that there were Secret Service agents who were diverted from President Trump's event in Butler, Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago Saturday to an event for First Lady Jill Biden in Philadelphia. But one of the things he talked about was the fantastic job done by the counter sniper who took out the shooter Now, I've played video for you where it took the counter snipers a while. I'm not talking about the 100 minutes where local police saw the shooter wandering around looking suspicious and casing the situation, or him flying a drone over the event a couple hours before the event, all of which should have been caught by Secret Service, or at least communicated to Secret Service. But they didn't have the information. We never got the information. Sorry. But we should commend the Secret Service for two things. Number one, they did do their job, dive on President Trump, shield his body from the sniper or a second shooter had one existed. That is laudatory. That is their job. That is their duty, and they performed it. Secondarily, the counter sniper, if you've seen the diagrams of the scene, did a tremendous job killing, I'm not going to say neutralizing because it's too sterile, killing the shooter who got off 8 rounds at President Trump, one of which hit President Trump in the ear, not shrapnel like Christopher Wray said, but actually hit President Trump in the ear, and he was divinely protected, I believe, by turning his head at the last second. But unfortunately, some of those other rounds hit spectators there, killing 50-year-old Corey Comparator and severely injuring 2 others. It's at that point that the counter sniper tries to see where the threat is coming from and tries to take out the shooter. But the shooter was smart, not only because he eluded capture in advance of the event, but because the shooter chose a position on the roof where there was a protruding center portion of the roof that he could peer over, steady his rifle on, get his shots off, and then be somewhat protected, or at least shielded, from the view of the snipers. So this is what Ronald Rowe Jr. is talking about when he talks about what a great job the counter sniper did, finding the shooter and hitting the shooter, even though there was probably no more than 5 or 6 inches that the shooter presented himself vulnerable as. Like, in other words, what did the sniper have to shoot at? The guy didn't shoot at Trump and then stand up on the roof and pump his fist in the air. He stayed prone on the roof, and there were only 5 or 6 inches of him visible to the shooter, either through a tree or around a tree, which partially obscured the shooter from the counter sniper. Here is Ronald Rowe Jr. talking about that. Not miraculous, because that's what he's trained to do, but that, very well executed shot from the counter sniper.
This is what our counter sniper team saw. Shooter, no elbows. You barely make out the crown of his head. Below it, the assailant up prone. And let me just tell you, this individual, I know him. I consider him a friend. He has covered me operationally in conflict zones. And when I did my time on the president's detail, he exemplifies the courage, the skill, and the ability to respond under great stress in such short time to neutralize the threat and prevent further loss of life.
Yeah, that is a great job. And I don't dispute that. I have never disputed that. What I find completely incomprehensible is what local police are telling us now about the Secret Service failures that day. Don't let the success of one guy at the end of the process take a victory lap without serious assessment of the failures that took place before the counter sniper did what he was trained to do. Here's a Beaver County deputy on the fact that there was absolutely no communication with the Secret Service on the day of the rally.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
Do you find that as incomprehensible as I do? Like, to me, that is just utterly amazing that that could be the case. Utterly amazing that that could be the case. But it is the case. They've said it. Secret Service has admitted it. Here's a second Beaver County officer on the Secret Service breakdowns that day.
He was looking up and down the building and just wandering around, and it just seemed out of place. I assumed that there would be somebody coming out to, speak with this individual or, find out what's going on.
But it never happened. It never happened. And the shooter had ample time to choose his position, ample time to aim at President Trump, ample time to get off 8 rounds. He just, thanks to the outstanding shooting of the counter sniper, was not able to escape, was not able, fortunately, to shoot any other people there. Because you can imagine, if the kid had been able to get down off the roof and he had been engaged by law enforcement officers, would he have taken a hostage? Would he have killed more law enforcement? Would he have killed law enforcement officers? Would he have killed crowd goers? And they were like, he wasn't the only person who was outside the, this is such a crazy statement to make. He was outside the perimeter that the Secret Service, that's another failure. Outside the perimeter. Well, there's a fence there, so there's the perimeter. I would think that highly trained law enforcement officers would say, you know what? We got a former president of the United States here, probably the most famous man in the world, somebody that a lot of people hate, somebody who has been disparaged, demeaned, diminished, painted as a danger to the future of our country. He's probably a little bit more of a danger than the First Lady of the United States of America. Maybe we should establish the security perimeter outside the area where somebody with a long rifle could take a shot at him, and if they have rudimentary training in how to shoot a rifle, hit him. Maybe we should establish the security perimeter. Just ignore that fence over there. Maybe we should establish the security perimeter outside that area where somebody could take a shot at Donald Trump and kill him live on television. No, that was not important that day to the Secret Service. It was not a matter. Remember, they didn't just show up that day and go, okay, how's it look here, guys? Where do we deem the dangerous areas? Well, there's a water tower over there. Maybe a good idea to get somebody up on that. I mean, it's got a pretty high perspective. Give us a good view of everything. Maybe it'd be a good idea to fly some drones around. We didn't bring the drones. The drones are with Dr. Jill. They didn't show up that day and screw that up. They showed up at least 3 or 4 days in advance. They had 100 hours of pre-rally time to establish a perimeter and do it the right way. And they still got it wrong.
Financial Group is not an offer. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an...
All right, hour number 2, we're going to talk about why it bothers Democratic women so much to be called childless cat ladies. And we're going to talk about JD Vance. Is he weird? Is he so weird that you shouldn't vote for him or consider voting for him and Donald Trump? Or are the people calling him weird even weirder themselves? You can catch that on the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or the 989 The Answer Facebook page. Thanks for joining us. Wow, big audience today. Great. Thank you guys so much. Take care.